Jesus didn't come to build a religion. He came to light a fire. These next 11 sayings might just burn your assumptions to ash and show you the divine spark hiding in your own chest. Or put another way, God whispered in your soul, so why are you still whispering back? It's time to shine. The Gospel of Thomas, verses 23 to 33, is where the teachings of Jesus stop sounding like Sunday school and start sounding like soul work. He speaks of inner light, fearless truth, ego, death, and divine agency. It's not about waiting for heaven, it's about becoming awake. Join us as we break down these mystical sayings one by one and uncover what it really means to be lit by God. Welcome back to the Nag Hammadi Bible Study, where we dive deep, verse by verse, into the Gospel of Thomas, a collection of Jesus' most intimate and radical sayings. In this episode, we're exploring sayings 23 through 33. These verses are rich with insight, challenging us to strip away illusions, awaken our light, and speak divine truth without fear. You won't find these teachings in your average Sunday sermon. These are for the seekers, the mystics, the ones who know God whispers louder in silence than in sermon. We're not here to preach, we're here to illuminate. So grab your tea, your journal, or just your open mind, and let's journey together into the sacred spiral of awakening. Saying 23, Jesus said, I will choose one from among you and reveal the full light through that one. The whole world will light up. His disciples asked, when will that happen? Jesus answered, when you strip away what hides your truth and stop being ashamed of your true self. When you reflect the light without fear. I will choose one from among you. This isn't elitism. This is potential. Latent in each of us, not guaranteed, but available. In true Gnostic fashion, Jesus doesn't say he'll choose the holiest or the most obedient or the most loyal. He says, one from among you. This verse is democratic in mystery. Anyone can become the vessel, but not everyone will. Because the choice isn't random, it's resonant. He chooses the one who has become ready, the one who has stripped away illusion, the one who has chosen themselves first. This is Gnostic truth. God does not impose light. God responds to alignment and reveal the full light through that one. This is no ordinary blessing. This is Gnosis unleashed, an eruption of understanding, unity, clarity, and divine agency. Jesus doesn't say, I'll teach them something. He says, I'll reveal the full light through them, not in them, not to them, through them. That's a massive difference. This is embodiment. The person doesn't just learn truth, they become its expression. They become a living symbol, a mirror of the divine, a lamp held high in the darkness of the world. They don't own the light, they reflect it. They channel it. They let it pass through unblocked. This is the Gnostic idea, to become a pure vessel of light, not a collection of religious merit. The whole world will light up. This is the ripple effect of spiritual alignment. One soul aligned with God's truth, truly aligned, changes the entire field. This is not metaphor. This is energetic law. When one person becomes completely themselves, nothing hidden, nothing shamed, nothing held back, the light they emit transforms everyone they touch. And because we are all connected, that light cascades. You don't need everyone to wake up at once. You need one soul to stop hiding. And from there, the world begins to shine. His disciples asked, when will that happen? Classic disciples. They always ask when. They want timetables. They want a divine Google calendar. But Gnostic wisdom doesn't deal in schedules. It deals in states of being. And Jesus doesn't rebuke them. He doesn't shame the question. He redirects it, not towards the stars, but inward. Jesus answered, when you strip away what hides your truth, not if, when. This is a conditional promise. The light is waiting. The revelation is ready. But it depends on us. What hides your truth? Shame, fear, roles you were told to play, stories you were forced to believe. The mask we wear to survive that eventually starts suffocating us. To reveal the light, we must remove what hides it, not add more layers, not cover it in doctrine or performance, but peel away what never belonged. Gnosis is subtraction, not addition. And stop being ashamed of your true self. This is the sacred undoing. Jesus doesn't say stop sinning. He doesn't say follow rules. He says stop being ashamed of your true self. That's a radical claim. Most of us were taught to hide, taught that God wanted us to change, not reveal. But here Jesus says the path to enlightenment is radical self-acceptance. Not the ego, not the mask, not the sin-soaked character religion painted over you, but the real you, the you before shame, the you that was never separated from the light, the you that still exists underneath all the pain. This is what it means to reclaim the image of God within when you reflect the light without fear. Fear is the final gatekeeper. It's not enough to find the light. You must have the courage to reflect it openly, fully, without apology. Many find truth and then bury it again. They're afraid of being different, afraid of judgment, afraid they'll lose people, afraid they'll be mocked or misunderstood. But the light is not meant to be hoarded. It's meant to shine. You are not the source, but you are the mirror. And a mirror cannot reflect light if it's hidden under fear. This is the final initiation. Reveal yourself, shine, even if it costs you. Because when you do, the whole world lights up. Saying 23 gives us the path of radiance in 7 movements, chosen not by status but by readiness. Embodied light, not taught but revealed through you. Collective awakening, your wholeness ignites the world. Impatience, win, Lord. Stripping illusions, remove what was never you. Ending shame, reclaim the divine spark within. Fearless reflection, dare to shine. This isn't a prophecy, it's a process. You want to know when the light will shine? When you stop hiding. When you stop apologizing for who you are. When you stop burying the spark inside you. When you show up fully, fearlessly, naked in your truth. That's when the light floods the world, not from heaven, but through you. Saying 24. His followers said, "Show us how to see clearly." Jesus replied, "You're trying to see what's already in front of you. The light is within you, but because you're blind to it, you live in the shadows." Wow. Show us how to see clearly. This is the most human request in Scripture. It's not save us, not tell us what to believe. It's help us see. They don't want instructions, they want clarity. This is Gnostic hunger, not for rules, but for reality. The veil is heavy, and they're begging for it to be pulled back. This is what every seeker eventually says. Please, I know I'm missing something. Just show me what's real. We don't lack desire, we lack perception. And Jesus doesn't hand them new facts. He tells them where to look, not outside, but inward. You're trying to see what's already in front of you. This is not a slap of compassion. He's not mocking them. He's revealing the tragic comedy of the spiritual path. You already have what you're looking for. It's here, it's now, it's always been. But you're trying to see with the wrong eyes. We chase, we strive, we intellectualize, we externalize. And all the while, truth just sits there, patient, unchanging, waiting to be recognized. This is Gnostic inversion. Don't search the sky. Don't decode every scroll. Just be still and notice what's already here. The sacred isn't hiding. We are. The light is within you. This might be the most dangerous sentence in spiritual history because it breaks the entire game. Not above you, not from a priest, not in a building, within you. This is the core of Gnostic faith. That divine light isn't something we receive, it's something we uncover. This isn't potential, it's presence. Jesus doesn't say a little bit of light or a hint of God. He says the light, the full radiance, the source. You are not a spiritual orphan. You are not waiting for light. You are the light, buried deep but intact. But because you're blind to it, this is the tragedy. The light is in us, but we don't see it. Why? Because we've been trained to look elsewhere, to doubt ourselves, to prioritize authority, dogma, structure. We're told that truth comes from outside, that worth comes from above, that light is something to earn, not remember. Blindness here isn't about sight, it's about self-trust. It's spiritual gaslighting. You've been made to doubt the one thing that could save you, your inner knowing. And Jesus isn't angry, he's sad. He's saying, you're not broken, you're just blind. And blindness can be healed. You live in the shadows. This is a result not of sin, but of disconnection. The shadows aren't hell. They're the echoes of truth, reflections, distortions, flickers. When you're disconnected from your own light, you're trapped in a world of secondhand truth, of appearances, of roles, of surface. You don't see clearly, so you don't live fully. You move through life like a ghost, performing, pretending, posturing, but never truly being. You don't sit in the shadows, you suffer in them. And Jesus is offering a way out, not through repentance, not through recognition. This verse gives us the clearest Gnostic framework yet. Hunger, help me see. Frustration, why can't I find it? Reorientation, it's already in you. Obstacle, you've been trained not to trust yourself. Result, you live as if you're in darkness. But the good news is implied. If you begin to trust the light within, the shadows will vanish. We don't need a new light. We need to clear the dust from the lamp we already carry. The light in you is not a flicker, it's a sun, hidden behind years of shame, doubt, and distraction. Jesus didn't come to give you something. He came to remind you what you already are. Stop waiting for someone to open your eyes. Open them yourself. The light is already here. Now live like it. Saying 25, Jesus said, love your brother and sister like your own life. Guard them as the pupil of your eye. Love your brother and sister like your own life. Jesus is not being poetic here. He's being surgical. This is not be nice to people. This is identify with them. To love someone as your own life means the line between me and you dissolves. This isn't charity. This is oneness. Gnosticality. This ties directly into the ideas of shared divine origin. We are not separate souls orbiting each other. We are facets of the same light. To love another is to honor your own spark reflected through a different lens. This kind of love requires a complete rewrite of the ego. You can't love like this and still hold on to superiority or judgment or hierarchy. You must see the divine in them as clearly as you see it in yourself. And if you can't yet see it in yourself, that's where your journey begins. Guard them as the pupil of your eye. This is both gentle and fierce. The pupil of your eye isn't just poetic, it's biologically vulnerable. Your eye doesn't just help you see, it is your sight. It's protected by reflex, by bone, by instinct. If something comes at it, you flinch before you even think. Jesus is saying, protect others like you protect your vision, not out of obligation, but because you know they matter that much, because you understand that their well-being is tied to your clarity. In Gnostic terms, we are all aspects of the divine. Then to harm another is to harm your own ability to see truth. This is not metaphor. This is spiritual law. Every time you abandon someone in fear, every time you belittle or ignore their suffering, you dim your own sight. You cloud your own eye. To protect another is to preserve your own access to light. Love as vision. Jesus is doing something sly here. He's linking love and sight. He's saying, When you love another like your own life and guard them like your own eye, you will begin to see more clearly. Love is not just moral, it's perceptual. Hatred blinds, shame distorts, judgment puts a filter over your vision. But love clarifies. You begin to see what's really there, not just in them, but in you. This saying is a bridge back to 24. You're trying to see clearly? Start by loving others like they're part of your seeing. The radical implication is this saying cuts against every instinct of the ego. We're taught to protect ourselves, to keep others at arm's length, to define our boundaries with suspicion, control, or fear. But here, Jesus is inviting us to live like others are not a threat, but an extension of our own being. In Gnostic thinking, this is a return to the pleroma, the fullness, the unity before the fall. It is through deep love of others that we begin to reclaim what was lost in division. Love becomes not just emotion, but a portal back to the divine whole. Saying 25 lays out a two-step return to clarity. 1. Love others like your own life. Dismantle separation, recognize shared divinity, move beyond ego and fear. And 2. Protect them like your own eyes. Honor their vulnerability. Understand their value. Recognize that they are part of your vision. This is the kind of love that's inconvenient, uncomfortable, unsafe. But it's the kind of love that restores sight. The real mystery? You can't truly love others like this until you begin to love yourself that way too. This is not about martyrdom. It's about integration. The more you love yourself as divine, the more you'll see that everyone else is divine too. You are not separate, neither are they. So love, protect, and watch your vision return. Saying 26. Jesus said, a speck in your friend's eye is easy to see, but your own beam, you don't even notice it. Remove what clouds your own vision, and then you'll see clearly enough to help others. A speck in your friend's eye is easy to see. This is Jesus at his most cheeky. It's not just truth, it's satirical truth. We're great at spotting tiny flaws in others, their tone, their past, their insecurities, their missed potential. But even the smallest failing in someone else seems to glow in neon. Why? Because judgment is a mirror. We see what we're primed to see, especially if we haven't healed it in ourselves. We accuse others of the things we're afraid to face. The speck in their eye is just a projection of the storm in ours. But your own beam, you don't even notice it. Here comes the holy roast. Jesus doesn't say you have a speck too. He says you have a beam, a plank, a full-on timber of delusion. And you're walking around like, hey friend, I noticed you have an emotional issue. Meanwhile, you're bashing people in the face with your denial log. It's brilliant and brutal and true, because the human ego is wired for external focus. It builds narratives where you're the healthy one and everyone else is the problem. But in Gnostic wisdom, the first illusion to break is the illusion of righteousness. Remove what clouds your own vision. This is not a suggestion. This is a sacred command. Stop trying to fix others. Stop trying to correct, convert, or rescue. You are not clear enough to help them. Not yet. Before you can speak truth, you must see it in yourself. This is the Gnostic spiral of awakening. Look inward. Confront your own illusions. Clean your lens. And not just once, daily, hourly, constantly. You remove the beam not to become perfect, but to become honest. And with honesty comes vision, clarity, compassion that's rooted, not performative. Then you'll see clearly enough to help others. Then. Now Jesus gives us the true order. First, clean your own lens. Then, help others clean theirs. This isn't about passivity. It's not saying don't help. He's saying don't pretend you're helping when you're really just projecting. Spiritual healing isn't about superiority. It's about shared liberation. When you've done the work, really done it, you don't lead with judgment. You lead with empathy. You don't say, here's what's wrong with you. You say, here's what helped me when I was drowning. You become a guide, not a god, a mirror, not a master. And the world doesn't need more masters. It needs people who are clear enough to help without causing more harm. Saying 26 outlines the cycle of true inner work. Perceive the flaw in others, natural but dangerous. Recognize your own blindness, shocking and humble. Remove your illusions, hard, unsexy, and essential. Regain clarity, not perfection, just clear enough. Help others with love, not ego. True spiritual service. You don't help others instead of healing yourself. You help them through the overflow of your own transformation. It's easy to critique others. It's harder to confront yourself. But only the second path leads to clarity. The work you do in your own soul is not selfish. It's the only way to become a trustworthy guide. Don't point fingers with dirty glasses. Don't try to lead while stumbling through your own illusions. Instead, clean your lens, own your shadows, and then, when your eyes are clear and your hands are steady, reach out and help your brothers and sisters, not to fix them, but to free them. In saying 27, Jesus said, if you don't fast from the world, you'll never taste the kingdom. If you don't make Sabbath a true rest, you won't see the Father. If you don't fast from the world, this isn't about skipping lunch. Jesus isn't commanding a diet, he's commanding discernment. To fast from the world means to withdraw your attention from illusion, from ego, from fear, from the addictive noise of consumer culture, religious showmanship, and mindless survival. The world in this verse is not the earth. It's the false systems we've built over it. To fast from the world is to say, I will not feed my soul with distraction. I will not binge on shallow validation. I will not let the temporary eclipse the eternal. This isn't about retreating into a cave. It's about being in the world without letting it define you. Choosing clarity over consumption, presence over performance. You'll never taste the kingdom. Not enter, not see, but taste. This is powerful. To taste the kingdom is to experience it in the body, not just the mind. To know it not as theory, but as living flavor, a sweetness that fills the soul. You can't taste that if your mouth is full of worldly noise. This isn't divine punishment. It's practical limitation. You can't drink fresh water if your cup is already full of sludge. If your spirit is saturated with anxiety, status games, craving, performance, you won't even notice when the kingdom brushes your lips. To taste the kingdom, you have to make room. If you don't make Sabbath a true rest, this is a radical redefinition of Sabbath. It's not about what day you worship. It's not about following rules or traditions or checking religious boxes. It's about rest, not the physical kind alone, but the deep, sacred surrender kind. Sabbath in this verse is a state of being, not a calendar event. Most of us don't know how to rest. We rest with distractions, with numbing, with scrolling. Jesus is saying, if you can't fully stop, you'll never fully see. Real Sabbath is when the inner striving stops, when we stop trying to prove, stop trying to perform, stop trying to hold the universe together with our anxious grip. In Gnostic thought, this is stillness before the light. It's what happens when the ego shuts up long enough for the soul to speak. You won't see the Father. This isn't a punishment, it's natural consequences. If you don't learn to rest, really rest, you won't perceive the divine presence within you and around you. Not because God is absent, but because your inner world is too loud to notice. The Father here isn't a sky-dwelling patriarch. It's the source within, the grounding presence of divine origin. You can't see that if you're constantly caught in motion. You can't see that while performing spiritual busyness. You can't see that while being addicted to achievement, identity, or fear. Stillness isn't a luxury, it's a gateway. Saying 24 offers dual path to return. Fast from the world, detach from illusion, say no to soul clutter, refuse to be fed by lies, practice true rest, stop striving, embrace stillness, enter the sacred quiet. Do both and you'll taste the sweetness of divine life and see the true source of your being. This is a return to clarity. You don't need to abandon the world. You just need to stop letting it fill you. You don't need to keep the Sabbath like law. You need to enter the quiet like a lover enters the arms of the beloved, willing, whole, and unhurried. There is a kingdom waiting to touch your lips. There is a Father waiting to be seen through the stillness. But it only comes when you fast from distraction and rest into the truth. I appeared to them in body. Incarnation is the scandal and the solution. Divinity wears skin, so we'll quit hunting for God in the abstract and start recognizing God in the mirror and across the dinner table. Body here means tangible, audible, interrupting. Jesus embodies the message. You don't have to transcend humanity to touch eternity. You have to embody it. I found them all drunk, not with wine, but with forgetfulness. The human problem isn't moral failure so much as amnesia. We're intoxicated on distraction, status, scrolling, shame, certainty. Like revelers who forgot why the party started, we've lost the memory of our origin. We came from light and we are light. Notice, he doesn't condemn the drunk. He diagnoses the symptom, spiritual blackout. In Gnostic thought, sin is less offense, more oblivion. A fog that makes us stumble away from our own divine spark. When they wake from their sleep, they'll turn toward the light. Hope detonates in this single line. The drunkenness is temporary. Sleep can end. Memory can return. The verse assumes awakenings happen. Gnostic awakening isn't about earning forgiveness or collecting merit. It's remembering, snapping out of the trance, recognizing the light that has been burning behind our eyes all along. An awakening is inevitable. The soul can nap for lifetimes, but the alarm is built in. Suffering, longing, beauty, crisis, synchronicity. Each shakes us by the shoulders, whispering, remember. When the moment lands, the reflex is to pivot toward luminosity, as naturally as a flower tracking the sun. Incarnation, light chooses the crowded middle of life. Embodiment, truth wears skin, so we'll trust it's possible. Drunken forgetfulness, we lose ourselves in the noise and numbness. Shock of memory, a crisis, a tear, a sunrise breaks the spell. Recognition, reunion, and realignment is how we turn to the light. We're not condemned for being drunk on forgetfulness. We're invited to sober up. Every heartbreak, every deja vu, every holy hush is Jesus tipping the glass, asking, had enough? The cure isn't self-loathing, it's waking up, remembering that the same light that stood in the world's center now stands in the center of your chest, waiting for your eyes to open. So let the hangover hurt. Let the dawn glare. It's proof the night is over and the light has never once left the room. Saying 29, Jesus said, if the body came from spirit, then it is a miracle. But if the spirit came from the body, that's an even greater mystery. Yet, I still wonder, how would such a bright light be housed in so much darkness? If the body came from spirit, then it is a miracle. Jesus starts with the standard view, spirit versus body. This is the sacred order we're used to hearing, the divine pouring itself into matter, the infinite shaping the finite. And yes, it is miraculous. The body is not a prison here. It's an incarnation, a miracle of density. Spirit choosing skin, form, breath, bone. This line affirms embodiment. In Gnostic thought, we often hear about escaping the material. But here, Jesus calls it a miracle that matter can hold even a drop of the divine. But if spirit came from the body, that's an even greater mystery. Now Jesus flips the lens, and this is where it gets Gnostic. If the spirit arises from the body, if this spark of light, this cosmic awareness somehow emerges from materiality, then we're in the presence of a deeper riddle. Science asks this too. Does consciousness arise from matter, or is it the origin of matter itself? And Jesus doesn't answer. He lets the question hang, because Gnosis doesn't depend on the answer. Gnosis lives in the tension of the mystery. Wonder is the path, not certainty, not formulas, but sacred awe. This line doesn't offer doctrine, it offers invitational curiosity. Maybe spirit and body are not separate at all. Maybe the division was illusion. Maybe we've been drawing lines in water. Yet I still wonder. Jesus wonders. Read that again. Jesus still wonders. The embodiment of light, the word, the logos, wonders. This is holy vulnerability. He doesn't posture an all-knowing here. He models the Gnostic posture of humility before mystery. To wonder is not weakness. To wonder is worship. Faith begins with not knowing and loving anyway. How could such a bright light be housed in so much darkness? This is the piercing Gnostic ache, the primal question of existence. How can eternal light be trapped in a world of fear, cruelty, ignorance, pain? How can the divine live inside us when we are so often selfish, confused, lost, and blind? How do we hold glory in such fragile hands? But even in this question, there's hope. Jesus isn't saying it can't be. He's saying it is, and I don't fully understand how. This line names the central human tension. I am a vessel of divine light, but I feel so broken, so tired, so dark. Gnostic truth doesn't erase that tension. It honors it. It calls it sacred. You can be radiant and shadowed. You can be stumbling and lit from within. The miracle is not perfection. The miracle is coexistence. Saying 29 is a three-stage movement. Miracle, spirit versus body, awe. Mystery, body versus spirit, deeper awe. Tension, light and darkness, sacred bewilderment. You're not supposed to resolve this. You're supposed to live inside it. You are made of questions. You are the light asking how it got here, the soul staring at its own flesh like a wonder and a wound. Yet, you are the contradiction that proves the divine exists, because only something truly eternal could survive, being this confused, this fragile, this human, and still burn bright. So wonder. Let that be your worship. You don't need the answer. You are the question, and that's enough. Saying 30, Jesus said, where there are three gods, they're just gods. Where there's only one, I dwell there. Lift the stone, I am there. Split the wood, and you'll find me. Where there are three gods, they're just gods. Jesus is calling out religious multiplication, the trappings, the idols, the theologies, the trinities, all the labels we create for divinity. 3 gods, 10 gods, 1,000 names. All valid attempts, but all still limited to constructs. They're just gods means they are projections, images, reflections, not the source. This isn't an insult, it's a clarification. There's a difference between divine symbols and the divine itself, between worshiping the light and worshiping the lamp. Jesus isn't anti-mysticism, he's anti-fragmentation. Multiplying God doesn't multiply holiness, it often just multiplies confusion. Where there's only one, I dwell there. This is the heart of Gnostic monism. Oneness, integration, source, not hierarchy, not pantheon, not separation. Jesus says, I dwell in unity. He's not in the noise, he's not in the categories. He's in the stillness where all divisions dissolve. To find Jesus is to simplify your perception until all is one again. You, them, God, creation, all part of the same light. And this isn't abstract, it's deeply practical. The moment you stop dividing the sacred into categories, you begin to feel Christ within. That's where he's always been, waiting in the silence beyond language. Lift the stone, I am there. This line punches through every illusion of distance. You think Jesus is in a temple, in a theology, in the sky? He's under the damn rock. This is a radical material eminence. Christ is not hovering above the world. He's embedded in it. You want to find the divine? Lift something heavy. Get your hands dirty, sweat, work, struggle. You'll feel him there, beneath it all, holding it all together from the inside. There's no holy place because all place is holy. There's no spiritual activity because all activity is spiritual. This line dismantles sacred secular dualism. Everything is alive with Christ in your eyes if your eyes are open. Split the wood and you'll find me. Wood is ordinary, everyday, base, and yet when you split it open, the hidden light spills out. This is a Gnostic reversal. Truth is not hidden in the heavens. It's hidden in the mundane, not above you, not after death, not behind a paywall of piety. Here, now, in wood, in stone, in you. The divine isn't remote. It's hyper-present, so present we overlook it. Saying 30 teaches us to collapse all spiritual distance. Many gods equals distraction, fragmented religion, fractured mind. Oneness, indwelling Christ, unity of all things, simplicity of truth. Stone, struggle, weight, labor, Christ is beneath your effort. Wood, ordinary, overlooked, earthy, Christ is hidden in the common. You don't ascend to Christ. You wake up to where he already is. There's no need to hunt the divine across dimensions. You're already in it, walking on it, breathing it, lifting it, chopping it, holding it in your hands. Christ is not distant. He is woven into the grain of your life. So stop climbing. Lift, split, dwell. Because the one you're searching for is already whispering from inside the wood. Saying 31, Jesus said, no prophet is welcome in their hometown. No healer works miracles for those who know them too well. Familiarity hides the sacred in plain sight. No prophet is welcome in their hometown. Let's be real. They remember you before you were awakened, before you heard the call, before you found your voice. They remember when you were awkward, said dumb things, got things wrong, were just normal. So when you come back carrying divine fire, they're not impressed. They're confused. Who does he think he is? I knew her before she got all holy. It's just Donnie from down the street. You could be glowing like the transfigured Christ and they'd still say, didn't we go to middle school together? This line isn't bitter. It's a recognition. Familiarity breeds dismissal. When people think they know you, they stop seeing you. Even prophets, even Jesus. No healer works miracles for those who know them too well. This one cuts deeper. Not only are prophets rejected, healers are blocked. Why? Because miracles require openness and familiarity builds walls. When someone has a fixed image of you, they can't receive the gift you've become. They're clinging to a past version that no longer exists. I remember when you were broke. I remember your mistakes. I remember your shadow. Their memory of you becomes a barrier to the light. And that's tragic, not because you need their validation, but because they could be healed. And their refusal to see you anew robs them of the miracle. Familiarity hides the sacred in plain sight. This added reflection line is the whole sermon in one breath. The sacred is not far away. It's not exotic. It's not celebrity. It's right here, and we miss it because we're used to it. We miss the divinity of our partner, the wisdom of our child, the depth of the old friend, the sacredness of our own reflection. We want God to show up in thunder, but she's been making you coffee for 20 years, and you didn't even say thank you. Familiarity is spiritual anesthesia. It dulls our vision. We stop looking for miracles in places we think we already know. Every prophet faces the spiral. Called, you awaken to the truth. Return, you bring it home. Dismissed, they see your past, not your present. Wounded, you ache to be seen. Liberated, you learn not to need their approval. Jesus walked that spiral. So will you. So will I. But here's the blessing. Your power is not limited to who accepts it. Their rejection cannot shrink your light. You don't need your hometown to clap. You don't need your old friends to get it. You don't need your family to see it. They don't have to believe in you for the miracle to be real. Keep being the prophet. Keep being the healer. Keep being the sacred, even when they call you ordinary. Because one day they might lift the stone, split the wood, and find you glowing in places they forgot to look. Saying 32. Jesus said, a city built on a mountain can't be hidden. What's built on a strong foundation will shine for all to see. The truth stands tall, unashamed, undeniable. A city built on a mountain can't be hidden. This is visibility with purpose, not ego, not attention seeking, but radiant, anchored presence. A city on a hill isn't just seen, it becomes a beacon, a landmark, a guide. It tells travelers where they are, it tells the lost where home is, it tells the weary that safety is near. This verse says, when your soul is elevated, people will notice. When your truth is solid, your light spills out. There's no hiding what's real, no dimming what's rooted in love, and no mountain is high enough to keep divine truth a secret. What's built on a strong foundation. This is the counterbalance. Visibility without grounding, that's performance. That's illusion. That's building castles in the clouds. But Jesus isn't talking about surface shine. He's talking about sacred architecture, foundation, spiritual truth, structure, your lived integrity. Shine, the fruit of your alignment. Think, truth so rooted, so reinforced that even storms can't shake it. You don't just glow, you endure. Will shine for all to see. Here's the part that makes people squirm. Jesus wants you to be visible, not for applause, not for praise, but for impact. You're not called to shrink. You're not called to hide. You're called to illuminate. The Gnostic path isn't about retreating into secrecy. It's about becoming a living symbol of what divine alignment looks like. Let your clarity be contagious. Let your healing wounds light someone else's path. Let your love blaze so brightly that even cynics feel the warmth. Truth stands tall, that final reflection line. The truth stands tall, unashamed, and undeniable. Truth doesn't whisper, it echoes. It doesn't cower in corners, it climbs mountains and builds cities at the top. If what you're living is real, it'll show. If your heart is aligned, people will feel it. If your light is rooted in truth, you can't hide it and you shouldn't. The spiral of sacred visibility has 5 steps. Foundation, know your truth. Elevation, rise with integrity. Visibility, let your light be seen. Endurance, withstand storms without crumbling. Guidance, become a beacon for others. This spiral says, the more grounded your truth, the more radiant your presence. The more radiant your presence, the more others find their way. So don't just build your life, elevate it. Don't just walk the mountain, become the city. And we get to saying 33. Jesus said, what you hear whispered in your ear, shout it from the rooftops. No one lights a lamp and hides it under a basket. They put it on a stand so all may see. The truth wasn't given to be hidden. Let your soul speak boldly. What you hear whispered in your ear. The voice of God rarely shouts. It whispers, not because it's unsure, but because it's intimate. You don't get a billboard in the sky. You get a nudge in the gut, a word in the stillness, a knowing behind the eyes. Jesus isn't talking about secrets. He's talking about sacred downloads, insights born of silence, truths revealed in stillness. These whispers, they're the raw divine signal, not filtered by ego, not wrapped in doctrine, just the pure transmission from source to soul. Shout it from the rooftops. Now here comes the tension. Will you risk being heard? Because revelation without expression is just spiritual hoarding. If the Spirit whispers it to you, it's meant to become a trumpet blast, not to dominate but to awaken. This is where you stop protecting truth and start amplifying it. You shout not to be right. You shout because someone out there is dying for the same whisper you were blessed to hear. No one lights a lamp and hides it under a basket. This hits hard. How many of us light up in prayer, ignite in meditation, but then walk through life dimmed down? We fear judgment. We fear rejection. We fear shining too brightly in a world addicted to shadows. But Jesus says, you were lit to illuminate, not to play small, not to blend in, not to fake humility that's really fear. They put it on a stand so all may see. This isn't ego, it's invitation. Putting your light on a stand doesn't mean being the loudest voice. It means being undeniably yourself. Your joy, your insight, your transformation, your fire. Put it out there. Don't apologize for it. Don't dim it down. Because when you light up, others remember they can too. That final reflection wraps it all. The truth wasn't given to be hidden. Let your soul speak boldly. Boldly doesn't mean aggressively, it means authentically. Truth doesn't need defense, it needs witnesses. The soul doesn't want to hide, it wants to sing. So whatever the Spirit whispered, sing it. Whatever healing came, share it. Whatever light you found, hold it high, like a lighthouse in the sea of doubt. The spiral of revelation to declaration starts with whisper, listen to the still small voice. Then receive, let it change you. Risk, dare to speak it. Then shine, refuse to hide your light. And finally, you'll inspire. You'll let your boldness spark others. These sayings, 23 through 33, aren't just spiritual poetry. They're a call to wake up, to strip away shame, to stop hiding the light, to love boldly, speak truth, and build our lives on the foundation of divine awareness. Jesus isn't whispering from history, he's shouting from the soul. And what he's saying is simple. You were never meant to stay asleep, you were meant to shine. You're the lamp. You're the mountain city. You're the place where the spirit and body meet. So let's stop pretending we're not divine and start living like we remember. This week, I challenge you to choose one saying from this episode and live it out loud. Maybe that means telling the truth you've been holding back. Maybe it's loving someone like they are your own soul. Or maybe it's just looking in the mirror and not being ashamed of who you are. Whatever it is, live it. And if it shakes you up, that means you're doing it right. If this sparked something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to keep this spiritual fire burning. And if you're walking the spiral path too, drop a comment. What saying spoke to you most today? I'm All the Elder. I want to take a quick pause for a love bomb. Huge thank you to everyone who drops comments on these videos. Seriously, y'all don't just comment, you preach. I scroll through and think, well, dang, I better be taking notes. Seriously, I thank God for every one of you, the theology shares, the hearts and kudos, the lurkers who quietly share their time, the questioners. You all rock, and I thank you. If you haven't checked out the comment section yet, do it. It's like a sacred scroll meets a group hug. People sharing wisdom, questions, struggles, and random holy brilliance. Jump in anytime, whether you're deep in the Gnostic weeds or just vibing with the light. Your voice matters. You have value. Shine on, weird and wonderful children of the Most High. Stay curious, stay kind, and above all, stay Gnostic, my friends. And always remember, God loves you, Jesus loves you, the Holy Spirit loves you. My friends, I love you. Be blessed and be a blessing. Creation isn't inherently evil. It's bafflingly Creation isn't inherently evil. It's bafflingly. Creation isn't inherently evil. It's bafflingly beautiful. But if spirit came from the body, that's an even greater mystery. Now Jesus flips the The Gnostic path isn't about retreating into secrecy. It's about becoming a living symbol of what divine alignment